This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.
Hey guys, how's it going? Matt from Foulball Productions here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well because I'm doing phenomenally. Thank you so very much. I appreciate the sentiment. Sentient dildo, referring to my podcast as a wet fart. That is very nice of you. Thank you. You fucking dick. I'm probably gonna get demonetized for cursing in the first few minutes, but that made me laugh, but that was not a nice sentiment. That was rude. Well, welcome to the 46th episode of the MFer Podcast. I hope that you're all doing well. I'm glad that you are here. Just as a little reminder, this podcast is streaming on Foulball Productions on YouTube, the MFer Podcast on YouTube, as well as Rumble, and is available wherever you get podcasts. So go ahead, give me a subscribe to all those platforms, and if you got it in your heart, if you could reach out for that kind offering, put a review on one of those podcast sites. It really helps boost it up through the charts, so hopefully other people will find this wet fart of a show. And I'm on Instagram and X, so follow there for all the latest updates, although I might be the worst person with social media. I try, man. I try. Social media, I hate it. I don't even like it for personal use. I just feel so like, ugh, it just feels like work. I heard Louis C.K. once describe it as like a data entry job, and that's how it feels to me. I'm just feeling cool. I'm out getting donuts. I don't know. It just doesn't. Excite me. I don't love it. I wish I had a social media person, but let's be real. This show does not need production, not yet. But yeah. So welcome. Glad you guys are all here. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to see your lovely faces in the chat. Hello, Low Spec. Good to see you, sir. Sentient Dildo as well. You've been acknowledged already. And Cotton Ministries disagrees with Sentient Dildo's assessment. He says, "Don't worry, Matt. I think your show is a dry fart." Thank you. I don't know if that's an improvement, but thank you very much, Cotton. It's good to have you here as well. With friends like these, eh? Glad I deleted all my accounts. Yeah, social media is a suck. It's an energy suck. It's a time vortex. It just takes your attention. I have a friend. It's really enraging. I have a friend. Whenever we're hanging out, he'll just I'll be in the middle of speaking to him, and his phone. He'll just be in his phone, and then he's in a cone. He can't impenetrable force field. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. It's like, dude. He's like, oh, sorry, I was on my phone again. Yeah. Yeah, you were on your phone while we were hanging out. You dick. Well, welcome, guys. Welcome. I had a good weekend. I went out to Bastrop, Texas, which is a little town outside of Austin. Cute little town. Nice little Main Street area. They got a brewery, got a distillery. Bought some booze from the distillery out there, but that wasn't the reason I went. The reason I went is because if any of you are familiar with Ryan Holiday, he's a author, YouTuber, Stoic philosophizer. I mean, I guess he sort of gathers Stoicism, Stoic philosophies, and then sort of, recontextualizes them or explains them or kind of highlights the lessons from them. Anyway, he's got a bookstore out in Bastrop, and I went, and it was neat. I bought Meditations and the 48 Laws of Power, of which, I might read. I started reading the Meditations. It's possible I'll get there. There were some bangers in there. Definitely some bangers right out the gate. I see why it's so influential. It's not very long. I think I can get through it, I'm a relatively smart guy. I'm a relatively not dumb guy, But that was a fun day. Fun day. What kind of booze, Ascension Dildo, you ask? Well, they made 2 kinds of whiskey. They made like a traditional kind of bourbon aged for 2 years in their barrels. And then they do this. And then the other whiskey had like a forced aging where they just kind of run it over wood chips, which I'm not really a fan of. And it didn't show up good in that particular whiskey. I really wasn't a fan of the whiskeys, but they did make an excellent vodka. And I can't believe I'm saying that because I think vodka sucks. Outstanding. Had a lot of character, corn base, really unique flavor, and a rum, which I'm really into rum. I got into rum about a year and a half ago, and I love it. And their rum was actually really good, and that was fun. It was a good time. It was a nice little jaunt out into the country, out into the, the slower towns, the quaint little countryside of Texas. It was nice. There was a little museum there, quick little museum about the history of Bastrop. It was pretty interesting. It was fun. Nice little day. Other than that, watched a little football yesterday. Nothing crazy. Cotton's asking if I'm going to Skankfest. Yes, I am. And the schedule got released, and I'm pumped up. It's crazy. I assumed, because it's a comedy festival, even though it's a festival, I assumed most of the events would be at night, and I was wrong. It starts at noon every day. So the first day I'm getting in there, I'm not even going to be able to see like half the shows because I don't get in until like 3:34. So I'm going to miss like 2 rounds of shows right out the gate. I was like, crap, wish I knew that. But yeah, going to Skankfest this weekend. So excited. So much fun. There's just so much out there. Ryan Long and the Boys Cast are doing a live Boys Cast. I'm probably going to see that. Louis J. Gomez doing a bunch of live shows. Obviously, it's his festival. But there's one called Story Wars, which is a new show I've really gotten into. And there's going to do a live Story Wars out there. And I hope that I get to be able to catch that. But I'm sure no matter what, it's going to be a blast. I'll probably be, obliterated. The whole thing is it's kind of a big party. So I'm excited about that. So, yeah, hopefully next weekend will be phenomenal. Can't wait. I'm pumped. I'm excited. Meditations are great. Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, it was just some bangers. It's really interesting, too, to be inside the mind of an emperor. A Roman emperor, just to be like inside his brain, like what characterized his decisions, like how his worldview like came together, what his like philosophies were. It's pretty fascinating. And it was a pretty easy read. It's well translated. I imagine he didn't speak English in the year, whatever that was, 111. I don't think he was speaking English back then. But it was pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. How long is the fest? All weekend. Starts Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day. So I'll fly back Monday. I'm jacked up, dudes. Let me tell you. I'm jacked up. It's going to be amazing. All the comics are going to be there. Supposed to be some surprises. I think there's some fights. There's an event called Skankfest, which I was like, oh, that sounds cool. There's going to be some brawling. I don't know. I'm excited. I can't wait. Yeah, me and my buddy are going, staying at the Golden Nugget. Yeah, which should be fun. And it's going to be a good time, I hope. Hopefully. Anyway, besides my personal plans, if you're watching this on Rumble, the thumbnail might be misleading. It has Zax's logo on it. That was a mistake on my part. I wanted to have Zax on today, but he couldn't do it. And I forgot to change the thumbnail on the Rumble one. So if you're expecting Zach's. Sorry, it's just me. I apologize. But Saturday night I did stream with him on the Circle of Jerks on his channel. A lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of new people. Had a good time. Had a few laughs. It was a really good show. If you guys didn't see that, I recommend checking it out. It's on Zach's page, and go check him out. You know him from the chat, obviously. Clickbait. Yeah, exactly. I'm using his celebrity to boost my own signal. You caught me. We had a good time on that show, so I recommend giving that a watch if you have not had the opportunity. Yeah. So, I watched the first episode of Penguin on HBO Max. I got to be honest, man. I have not been interested in like any shows recently. I think a few weeks ago I detailed all the Apple Plus shows that I watched that like started off really promising and ended up pretty disappointing. And beyond that, I don't know. I'm watching the new season of Slow Horses, which is a good show. It's like a British crime spy thriller. I really like that. Other than that, though, there's nothing on the landscape that I want to go back and watch. I probably will go back and revisit Shogun. I barely tried. I think I watched half the first episode. And I just stopped it for no reason. Not that I didn't like the show, but it wasn't enough to hook me. So I got to go back and finish watching that show. Apparently, it's very good. You guys have said it's good. It won all these awards, yada, yada, so on and so forth. But, I mean, I can't care. I certainly don't hate watch anything. I'm not going to watch Agatha all along to be like, it sucks. I don't have that in me anymore. And what was the other one? Oh, The Acolyte. Yeah, I don't hate watch. And I'm certainly not going to spend all the energy making a review on it. It doesn't mean anything to me. But other than that, I just really haven't. There's nothing out there. I don't know. You guys watching anything that I'm unaware of that I should be watching? Because it just feels like the landscape is pretty dead right now. However, I caught the trailer for Penguin on HBO Max like a week ago, and I was like, ooh, that genuinely looks very good. So I sat down on my couch with a big bowl of popcorn. Not really, but I'm painting a picture here, you know. It doesn't have to be accurate. It just has to be provocative. So I sat down to watch it, and there's been a lot of positive responses. I haven't heard from any of the orthodoxy. I haven't heard from Mauler or Critical Drinker, so I know what exactly to think. They haven't told me what I think yet, but I haven't heard from them. But the reviews overall have been extraordinarily positive, very well received. Mainstream press also really likes it. All the big names. They're not like doing positive, the Jim's movie website loved it. There's none of that. It's like Variety, like real publications, the New York Times, so on and so forth. Not that the news is real, but you understand. Has the endorsement of the mainstream media. So I had some high expectations, and I sat down to watch it, and, totally open mind. Obviously anticipatory. I wanted to see it, but I sat down with an open mind, and I got to tell you, it was phenomenal. It was spectacular. Like, don't think I'm overstating that. It was a work of genius. It was so compelling, so well plotted. Like, the story starts, like, immediately. Like, there is very little drag. And when there's not actually like story beats happening, the dialogue is tremendous. Like Colin Farrell as the Penguin is mesmerizing. I can't see Colin Farrell under the makeup. I believe it's him because they've told me it's him, but I don't see that it's him. It's a spectacular performance. He's playing this, if you've probably seen the Batman movie, but he's playing this version of like a kind of a stereotypical like Italian sort of Chicago style gangster. And it's really fascinating because he has all these little mannerisms and little deliveries of like kind of like mobby type dudes that I knew from Jersey. Like just the way they talk and these little subtle sense of humor, but the way they kind of pop out. The way he carries his head, the way he like touches his hair, it's remarkable. It is one of the best performances that I've seen in recent memory. I genuinely don't remember the last time I've seen a performance where it's like I'm so, on one hand, so captivated by how completely he encapsulates the character, but also how much I'm invested in him as the character and the story. So it's like two things are happening at the same time where I'm just like, God, that's incredible. But also he's carrying the story. It's not one of those like vanity pieces. Like there's definitely roles, like acting roles that actors take that are just basically like act. And like it's great and everything, but you're not all that invested in the story. The movie could be kind of memorable. Not the case with this show. I am blown away by how compelling it is, how well plotted it is, how each scene logically flows into the next one, how it moves so swiftly but also takes its time in between beats. It's brilliant. Like it's absolutely brilliant. Like I there's no fault I've seen. I can't think of anything that stands out to me as something that I even in the moment was like, eh. Like at one point I literally paused it to go get a glass of water, but I was like relieved from a break in the tension. Like it was that taut. I'm not going to spoil it because it literally just came out over the weekend. I will just say it takes place like directly after the end of the Batman movie, like seamlessly. Like it's basically, it starts off with a news montage of the Riddler's destruction of Gotham and all the things that happened when he opened the levees and how the water flooded into the city and all the destruction. And it's really like, it's like very ominous and it takes it seriously. It takes like what happened seriously and builds on it. It doesn't try to like just ignore it. It's like, okay, now there's like a big power vacuum with this Falcone guy dead. And it's beautifully shot with the Penguin just like staring out at the city in this big window. And it's kind of like putting all of the themes and the future of the show sort of like on him, like in his eyes and like over the news montage. And it starts off like, I don't even really want to say much more than that, other than it just picks up right where it left off. And then a gigantic story beat happens within the first, 10 minutes, it feels like. And then the whole show's kind of like moved from that point forward. And it's so rich. The characters are so good. Everyone you meet is a rich 360-degree person with like flaws or strengths, like characteristics. Like the girl, so there's Falcone. I don't know how much this was established in the movie because I barely remember that movie. I just remember some of the more ridiculous parts of it and the fact that I felt like it was too long, but yet there were good parts and I thought it was compelling and, a good watch. Not a masterpiece, something I'll probably never go back to rewatch, but was, for when I watched it, fine, acceptable. But Falcone, I guess, had two kids, I think, a son and a daughter. And the daughter, I don't know if this was established in the movie, but in the show, she just gets out of Arkham. And she is played by Kristen something. Let me see. Kristen Milletti, I think her name is. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. Oh, this is interesting too. I'll mention this in just a second. Kristen Milotti. She is so good. She plays like the daughter who just gets out of Arkham, and when you meet her, she's intimidating. Like truly, there's just a stillness to her and like a wackiness in her eyes. And for the episode, like I said, I want to avoid spoilers as much as I can, but she's definitely an intimidating character. And she seems like a villainous character, but it kind of seems like everyone's a villain. So it's hard to kind of pin down who's the villain. But she feels like one of the more villainous characters, and it's really earned. She's clearly nuts, which is, kind of uneasy. She's also powerful. She comes from this rich, powerful family, so she has the resources to execute some of her manic tendencies, which is scary. I mean, chicks are nuts. Take a truly nuts chick, then give her money and power. Yeah, that's a scary person. That's a scary person. But it in no way does it feel like Hollywood with the strong female character at all. It's a character, right? It's like the way it used to be, where you didn't notice that shit. You weren't like, oh, there's a chick in this. All right, what do we got? It's like, no, it's a seamless, There was one thing that was said in like the behind the scenes or something that I was like, oh, you didn't need to say that. Like, it was fine that it was subtle. Speaking it aloud kind of makes it a little lame. But I bet y'all, if you went back and watched it, you wouldn't even know what I was talking about. Excuse me. It certainly didn't occur to me when I watched it. And then afterwards when they said it, I was like, oh, okay. What are you guys saying? Cotton. I don't remember the last time I turned on my TV. Well, yeah, I get it. There's nothing to watch. I'm on YouTube. That's all I do. I just live on YouTube. I've been watching this YouTube channel called Scary Interesting, where it's all these like really terrible historical events, like getting stranded on a desert island for like years. These tiny little atoll in the middle of the Pacific is, fascinating little stories and stuff like that. Getting trapped in a submarine, like a World War I submarine, for days and having to get rescued. Very interesting stuff. I just, it's like, it feels like a chore to go turn on the TV and flip through streaming services. I'm sure there's good shows out there. I'm sure there are. But there's too many, and most of them suck, and I just, I'm not really interested in average or watchable. I want something I really, really am caring about watching. Colin Farrell been killing it? Dude, yeah. He's like McConaughey. He's like one of those guys where you kind of write him off as just sort of a cheese ball. Just kind of someone who's just there, just one of those Hollywood guys, and you're just like, ugh. And then, man, I don't know, somewhere he made a turn and just became like mesmerizing. He's terrific, and it's just such a weird choice for him, because it's like he doesn't look like him at all. The character is fat and disabled and ugly and got gnarly teeth with gold, and he's just so good in the role. It's remarkable. You want to watch it? You want to wait before you watch it? I'm over the Cape shit. Fair. You mean she doesn't bitch about men catcalling her? No. Surprisingly, no. I think there's like some lines about, the men in this family holding her back or whatever, but it all feels earned. It all feels genuine. None of it feels like you have to have the chick in there and she's just going to tell all the men what to do. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like genuinely earned. The writing is so good. Where was I going to go with that? I remember now, because you said you're over the Cape shit. Herein lies the only kind of issue I have with the show. And it's not really an issue necessarily. It's just really an issue in the packaging. So this Penguin show, spin-off of the Batman movie, right? And I remember the Penguin was like good in the movie. Just an interesting character there, but wasn't super rich. I don't remember him having a big impact on the story. Maybe he did. I just don't remember it. I remember him being there. I remember him being an important character. I don't remember how rich his impact was in the story. I just more remember Falcone and the Riddler, and Penguin was there. So this is a spinoff from that. The thing is, this doesn't feel like a superhero show at all. This just feels like a crime story set in Gotham, which is weird, I think. Now, that might be a good thing, right? Because to me, it kind of rings like Daredevil a little bit, but better. Like more grounded, more like rich and like real. But there's no hint of, I don't even think Batman's been mentioned. The Riddler is treated like a terrorist, which, I guess in modern context he would be a terrorist. But it's just kind of like, There doesn't feel like there's the rogues gallery around. It doesn't feel like there's any other villains except for just the people that are in this series, which are like crime bosses and rival gangs and so on and so forth. Like, it kind of feels a little bit like, I heard a critique or an observation or a thesis about how the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix was really just a different script that they sort of repackaged with the Joker theme, that it would have been its own movie. But, superhero stuff is so hot right now and it sells and so on and so forth. They kind of reworked it to be a Joker origin story. This feels like that a little bit. It kind of feels like they're telling a really compelling, taut, like brilliantly written, acted, shot, directed crime story that they're being like about the Penguin, 'cause comic book stuff. I could see being like a really big Batman fan and kind of not loving that. I'm not a particularly big Batman fan. I like it. I'm not against it. I liked the animated series when I was a kid. I watched the movies. I've detailed my problems with the Nolan films many a time here, and I think they're far from perfect, so at least from a writing standpoint. God, so there's some stupid choices in those movies. But it kind of feels like they're stealing the superhero branding and the superhero marketing for the sake of being able to make a good show, because there's already a captive audience. And technically the character of Penguin exists, from the movie universe. So it feels like, like if this were to tie in with other villains in the DC universe and Batman was out there, even if you don't see him, if he's just spoken about or shown in news clips or something, I think that would be a little bit more respectful to fans of Batman. But like, regardless, it's a brilliant show. I just kind of hope that like at some point you're not just like, it almost feels like a bait and switch in a way, but it's such a good switch that it should probably be forgiven. But if you're a big Batman fan and you want to, see a Penguin movie, what's a villain without a hero? Like what's a hero without a villain? Like they kind of need to coexist. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. There's no way I'm not watching every episode of this show unless it takes a huge nosedive. But based on the pilot, I'm in. I am so in. What do y'all say? More gritty than Burgess Meredith in Batman 66. Grittier than that. Although I don't really... I can't really pull that from memory. I don't know what character Burgess Meredith played in the 66 Batman show. I don't know. Insert a Nolan exposition dump. Oh my God, yeah. God. Brutal. I mean, there was one from Commissioner Gordon in Batman Begins where I swear he directed it to camera. He just explained the whole movie as all the events that happened up until this point. I was like, yeah, I know I'm watching the movie. I didn't just get here. I didn't come in halfway through. Like, what the hell? Why was that necessary? It's so insulting. I know the plot. I'm watching the movie. Ugh. Those movies get so... They get so overpraised, I think. I get it. They're entertaining. They're enjoyable, but they're just not well-structured movies. If you think about them for 5 seconds, they're stupid. They do some great shit. They do some really cool gadgets, like why Batman has access to all these, this military tech and the Batmobile and all that stuff. I get that. That's all cool. But, I mean, the plot, none of it makes sense if you think about it for even a second. Like, it's all stupid. Like, it's like I was watching a criticism of the original Batman Begins, and it was like saying that the crazy gas that Scarecrow puts into the water, it's like it only activates when it's atomized. And it's like, so you're saying that no one in Gotham in all the weeks you've been putting this water and this stuff into the water has taken a shower or boiled tea or made pasta? None of them turned it into steam, huh? It's like, okay, you can kind of forgive that, but then there's no cure. Like, Batman stops him from getting it into all the water supply. All right, fine. Way to go, Batman. But he didn't stop it from the entirety of it. There's still, from the looks of it, thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even millions of people infected, and it's never addressed how that is fixed. It's just like, didn't get in the water supply, everyone's good. And then, yeah, the exposition dump, the the gravelly Batman voice, you know. I don't know. I just don't care for those films. I just think they're super overrated, and I don't know. Whatever. I kind of have to silently roll my eyes as they always get praised so much. Ascension Dildo. Want to watch something light and fun? Watch The Gentleman Show. By George. I already did. I thought it was excellent. I really loved it. It was a lot of fun. Really cool show. It felt really Guy Ritchie-ish, you know? Excuse me. I'm all congested. Really good. And Guy Ritchie, I feel like, has just been such a parody of himself. Even with the original Gentleman movie, which isn't that bad as like a standalone film if it wasn't Guy Ritchie. But when you know Guy Ritchie's pedigree in comparison, it's kind of like, you know, this feels like you're trying to get back to who you used to be. But it's a good concept. And the show is really awesome. Yeah, I loved it too. I thought it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Cool concept. Cool ideas, like well fleshed out, like world building, interesting dynamics. Good show. Lots of fun. Highly recommend. What else? Story setting. Yeah, I think honestly, like, it's really just a great crime drama. It's like The Sopranos-ish. You know, it has that kind of vibe. It's basically about like building a criminal empire. And the guy happens to be the Penguin, which, like I said, is really cool. And I just hope that they respect the fans and remember that it is a superhero show and that there should be superheroes in it at some point, you know. Even if it's fucking Robin or something, you know. Even if like Batman's got a sidekick now and Penguin's got to fight Robin, whatever. Just, you know, put a superhero in it. Remind us that this is a superhero show. Don't just exploit fandom, you know, or whatever. I mean, look, I guess beggars can only be so choosy. And it really is like, it's a breath of fresh air. It was so compelling. I was into it. I liked the twist. I liked the character turns. I liked the use of like seemingly innocuous moments paying off later. The growth of characters. I mean, there was great arc just in the first episode. I guess this isn't that much of a spoiler, but you meet his mother. Brilliant. Like, not just like a latent in the background, like not real character, like a very, very impactful character. Just so much smart about it. So much deftness, so well crafted, and the choices so specific. The look is great, the cinematography is great, and there's a lot of close-ups on Colin Farrell, and you don't see through that makeup at all. It looks like his face, and because his performance is so compelling, you get lost in it. You know, you don't think about the fact that he's wearing a big fat suit and all these prosthetics and like fake teeth. It's just a brilliantly executed show. I can't really overstate that. I really recommend at least the pilot. I think it's an 8-episode miniseries. I don't know if there's a season 2. I doubt it. Typically, big stars usually just show up for like the miniseries and then they move on. Plus, if I'm Colin Farrell, I don't really want to be in that fat suit for year in and year out. I bet that really sucks. And who knows? He might die at the end of it. I have no idea. I have no idea what happens at the end of this show. But from that, just the pilot, cannot recommend it more. Small Town Republic. If the Penguin is so good, then isn't it funny that people are making more videos about Agatha? Thing is, Small Time. Hate gets clicks. Hate gets clicks. Praise is only interesting to a point. There's certain YouTubers who can make really compelling praise content, and they're really smart and understand the intricacies and kind of talk about themes or whatever. and can really like author a very good praise video, but ultimately they just don't do the numbers of criticism. Criticism gets clicks, you know. If it bleeds, it leads, kind of thing. And I think, you know, forgive me, Sentient Dildo, for my little nerd rant about to go on. But I think Marvel fans and comic book fans deserve their pound of flesh. You know, they've been fucked over and dicked around and insulted, and every single IP made gay and lame. Put a chick in it, make her gay, like that. You know, just everything, just so low effort, insultingly, glaringly obvious, just DEI choices that lower the property, insult everyone who's a part of it, insult the fans. It just wastes everyone's time, you know, and money, and kind of lower the overall quality of content, and then basically hold everyone to this horrible standard that no one wants except for the real activist people. And so now it's like they kind of get to have their victory lap, you know. The Acolyte gets canceled. Boo, you know, just awful. Burn it. That's great. The Agatha All Along is like, what even is this? I forgot about that character entirely, and I watched the WandaVision show. Had to think about what the name of that show was. I watched that whole thing. Well, most of it. It started to get lame. But I watched most of it because it had such a compelling beginning. And then I was like, oh, yeah, right. Agatha. Like, I had to remember that. The witch kind of controlling it all. Isn't she evil? I don't even remember, you know? I don't even remember that character. And then they make this whole show about it. I think it's fair. I think it's fair to make the hate videos, to you know, dance and tap dance on the grave of all this bullshit. You know, it's time. Enough's enough, you know? You guys threw your little 8-year temper tantrum. Who knows what'll happen in November? They might go right back to it. But I mean, come on. What are we doing here? These companies they're not making the money they used to. I mean, Marvel used to be $1 billion money printer, you know? Just, hey, the Avengers are here. Captain America's here. Thor's here. Like, it's just enough. Iron Man, boom, boom, boom. And then they just destroyed the whole brand, the whole IP. There's like no brand faith. No one's interested. And there's superhero fatigue, sure, but good movies will put asses in seats. I mean, that's all there is to it. Even if it's like maybe they don't hit the heights they used to. Like, people still want escapism. They still want fun stuff, you know. Maybe things need to evolve, you know, but making it lame and gay is not the way, and no one wants it. And so it's, yeah, they get to have their victory lap. They get to have their pound of flesh. They get to have their party. You know, hopefully it stops. You know, hopefully it doesn't become like, you know, you don't want them to become the bullies. But I don't know. There's enough good faith actors in the criticizing everything gay community, and I hope that they will, you know, take this newfound power and use it responsibly. But I understand the impulse. I get it. I can't do it. It's not my thing, really. It causes me pain to watch those terrible shows. I used to be one of those guys. I used to do the fandom, you know, this sucks and this is why and they ruined this. It didn't make me a happier person. You know, even if I was getting clicks, which wasn't all that common, to be fair. But I just, you know, I mean, I remember the Lord of the Rings of Power season 1. I was like, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna spike it over the net. And I watched that first episode, and I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? This is torture. I hate this show. This is awful. I'm not gonna sit here and roast it. It's not what I do. It's not what I'm interested in. And I just quit that day. I quit fighting the culture war, you know. I'll still speak my mind. I'll still talk out what I think is the truth. But I'm not a soldier in the culture war anymore, you know. I'm just a guy with a microphone and a dream. But you know, there are people out there that's how they made their bones, and they're good at it. I still find it compelling. I still watch most of what Critical Drinker puts out. I still check in with Gary and Mahler. You know, it's not, like I said, it's not the content that I want to make, but I think those guys are good at it. And now these shows are like so, what's the word? Like undeniably terrible. And there's a universal hate. I think it's nice. They get this. They've been fighting the good fight. They've been taking all the criticism, articles written about them, about how they're such pieces of shit. And they're not. They're just telling you that the content you made is garbage and you deserve to be criticized for this gay-ass shit that you made everyone watch and claimed was good. You know? It was only, 8 short years ago they did that Ghostbusters shit, and then all the terrible Star Wars sequels. You forget that was pretty recent, and there wasn't really so much counter media. We just had to live in a world where that was considered brilliant. And you're a bigot if you don't think so. That was not that long ago. And I lived in Los Angeles during all of that, and that was hard. You know, I'm glad. I like it, man, you know. I might not start the fire, but I'll probably throw a log on it or two, you know, just keep my hands warm. So I see your point. And I think for everyone's sake, I mean, you should watch what makes you happy. It's entertainment after all. I think you should watch what makes you feel good, what you enjoy, you know? Because otherwise, I don't know. What are you doing? You know, definitely, like I said, throw the arrows you want to throw. But, you know, remember, there's good stuff out there sometimes. You quit after episode 4. Is that about WandaVision? That's probably about where I quit, too. Maybe 5. I thought it was so interesting and so different tonally, and the writing was so creative and kind of like David Lynch. It was like, wow, this is so unique. And then it just became the same gay shit. And also then it got really with the girl power bullshit. And it was just like, well, I'm sad, and that's why I'm imprisoned an entire town. You know, it's hard to have feelings. It's like, okay, you're a bad guy now, though. It's fair. It's just boring to you. I understand. Senju Dildo, I feel like I know your taste pretty well. I think you'll like this, but I get it, man. Sometimes you just need to give shit time. And plus, if you really like it, you wait a few weeks. You got a bunch of episodes piled up to watch. I get it. I'm not going to force you. Like I said, watch what makes you happy. That's the theme of this episode. Penguin episode 1 was awesome. HBO made that show right. Chris Wiz, I could not agree with you more. And I just went off for about a half hour why I thought that shit was brilliant. And truly brilliant. Yeah, but like I said, the one thing I just a little uneasy about is like superhero show, though, right? I mean, we are going to somehow tie into this world has superheroes in it, right? Not that, like, that's even my thing, but just out of respect for the fans, this is a Penguin show, right? So we need a hero to this villain. But it's great. Oh, it's so good. Man. It's so sharp. I mean, you swirled up in it from the jump. Lost in the story. Lost in the concepts. It's awesome. Chris Wiz, you would think a corporation like Disney would care more about making money than pushing an agenda, but they are losing billions the hard way. I look, it seems like it, right? But they probably still have all the amusement parks. I don't know. I used to think, like, because I lived in LA for a while, right? And I was an actor, kind of. You know, I was in the area of being an actor. I was around actual actors. And I saw how the culture was. The culture was thick with this stuff. I mean, I remember one time just in one of my acting classes, I just wasn't hip to how widespread this was, how it was everybody. I just thought it was like, oh, happens to be quite a lot of people, but, you know, well, it's just a coincidence. No, they're all on board. But I was talking with my acting coach, and politics came up all the time, which I wish it wouldn't, but it constantly came up. And Trump, and this was before he got elected. And I was just saying about how, oh, yeah, you know, like the whole NAFTA thing, like bringing jobs back to America. Like, I actually kind of like that. And he was just like, oh. Like, that I would ever say anything positive about him was, like, ungodly. How could you even imagine? It was just like, I was just maintaining an open mind. Like, I didn't have a dog in this fight. Like, I don't even think he's a real candidate. I think it's all a puppet to get Hillary elected. Like, whoa. But it's like, the culture is so rich with that perspective. And it's like, it's everyone you meet, everyone you talk to. And like, even if you have a different thought, you keep that shit to yourself because it will not be well received. So I was always under the impression that it was just like that kind of activist culture and that perspective was just so rich in LA that you couldn't really fight it, and you just kind of had to go along with it. And that's what it was. But now, man, they seem like aggressively trying to destroy things, make terrible stuff, spread like nefarious like propaganda points of view. Like, they keep making the villains the good guys, like, from all these other things. I'm like, what is this? Like, the Penguin is not doing that. The Penguin's not saying he's actually a good guy and he's misunderstood. But Disney, how many friggin' times did they make like Cruella de Vil? Actually, you didn't realize she was the good guy. It's like, no, she wasn't. She kills puppies for clothing. She's not the good guy. Like, but they kept doing that with so many different shows. You're like, what are you doing? Like, I genuinely don't get it. Like, I thought it was just social pressure from like the really intense kind of conformity culture in LA, but now I think it's something completely different. Fuck, man, I don't even know. I don't know. You'd need to ask someone like Razorfist. He could probably tell you. I guess you guys don't like money. I don't understand it. Like that Snow White thing, like that's still moving forward. You're like, it's got like a record amount of dislikes for any video ever. You're just like, I don't know why you hate money. I don't know why you hate people. I don't know why you hate men, why you hate women. I don't know why you're so, I don't get it. How did you even get the job to make this? It really does. I have no answers. I'm just like, what the hell? Zach, hey, buddy. Sorry, dude. You're an asshole. Don't worry about it. Shit happens, man. I am I am not one to criticize someone for being unreliable when they say, don't worry about it, man. It's fine. It is completely cool. I was on your show the other night, got a nice subscriber bump out of it, had a blast. There's no grudge. Don't worry. We Gucci. We Gucci, bruh. We Gucci. Subs Zaxel. I just can't listen to all that whining. I understand it, but I don't need that crap in my life. Fair. That's another. You don't need to watch it. You don't have to. Yeah, like that's personal taste. You know what I mean? Like for me, for a point though, I needed it. It was like a breath of fresh air. It was just like you just been living underwater, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, someone else gets it. Someone else sees what I see. Like, this is amazing. Like, everywhere I go, people are telling me how great Ray is a character. And I'm like, she sucks. I hate her. She is not a good character. Like, this is Mary Sue shit to the max. I'm like, oh my God, wasn't it so good? Force Awakens. I'm like, it fucking sucked. And I had to live with that every day, just feeling isolated. And then when you find like all these dudes who are like, no, this shit's gay as hell. You're like, yes, it is. It's gay. You're right. I love you. I'm following everything you do. It was so refreshing. So, it's a time and place, and I get it if, that's not your thing. Sometimes I also just like people's, like, especially like a critical drinker guy. Like I feel like he's very analytical. And I feel like he's very measured with how he critiques things. So I just like to hear what he thinks, not even from like a get him culture war thing. I just like his point of view. I just straight up do. Hello, Ace Mr. Freeze. Good to see you. No such thing as late. Don't even worry about it. Is it a villain show? It is a villain show. But it's not like what I was describing with those Disney shows where it's like, like actually the Penguin was the good guy all along. It's just really like a well-structured origin story. It's kind of like the DC Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, where it's just about the guy. And even though is a bad guy, you're empathetic because it's very well structured and the character has genuine motivations that you like empathize with. Like you're on his side, but he's not a good guy. It's kind of like Tony Soprano. It's like the classic anti-hero thing. That's very good. It wasn't too bad, right? Thought it was brilliant. Hello, classy vigilante. Man, it's been a while. Good to see you. Good to see you back. I thought it was phenomenal. Not too bad. I thought it was outstanding. Wall to wall. No notes. Fucking brilliant. Chris, what kind of superheroes do you need to see? I'm thinking this is just a Gotham crime drama. No, that's what I'm saying. It's exactly how it feels. It feels like a Gotham crime drama, but it is. Penguin is a superhero character. He's a Batman villain. You know, it's like, oh, remember why this is gonna be successful. Why there's an audience lined up to see it, because they're Batman fans, right? And Batman's an established IP. So if you use that. If you exploit that, but you don't give them a superhero show, little manipulative, in my opinion. I'm here for it no matter what, because it's phenomenal, but I would like there to be like at least a wink to Batman or some other villain, or the fact that it is a superhero show. Just a little acknowledgement that this is why we're here. You know, you didn't pick like one of the more obscure villains that we all forgot from like the 70s or something. You know, you picked one that people knew from a recognizable superhero IP. Make sure you show a little respect to the fans. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm getting at there, Chris Wiz. No, I wasn't talking about Penguin. I was talking about the Y-Tube. Yeah, no, I got you. Oh, I see, yeah. Didn't know what to expect for the Penguin show, but it's working. Heard Penguin was a bit slow, but a good pilot. Ooh. I did not think it was slow. I thought it was fucking phenomenal. But then again, it also kind of like matters. What are your expectations? Are you expecting to see a superhero show where there's going to be like lots of crime fighting and stuff like that, and that kind of vibe? Maybe. I thought it was deliberate. You know, I thought the pacing was like confidently deliberate, in that it's not fast necessarily, but it's poignant. Each moment is earned. There's a reason for it. Like, no spoilers, but when he's out to lunch, there's a moment, there's a few minutes or even a minute where they're just having casual dialogue, and then the tone changes, and that's so intentional. It's so intentional to like lure him in, and that's so smart, and it's so like, you know, calculating from the person across the table from him, and it's like that. That's earned. Like you've earned real tension, because for a second it felt like it was kind of out of the room, and then no, it was right there the whole time, and you're walking into a trap. Like, it's brilliant. Like, it's patient. You know, it's sophisticated. Like, it really knows what it's doing, at least in the pilot. Chris Wiz, it's insane that actors have hid their conservative values just to make it in Hollywood. Yeah, you kind of gotta. From my experience, if that's more important to you to make it, yeah, I would recommend just keeping that shit to yourself. In fact, you should probably be like, totally. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I can't live like that. I'm just got too much to say about everything. I can't keep it in. I gotta. Ooh, shit! I just pulled out my headphones. Look, by the way, not always a virtue. Sometimes people don't want to hear it. And sometimes you get a little drunk, and maybe you say things you should just keep to yourself anyway. But yeah, no, I think if that's your goal, yeah, just don't bother. It's wrong. It's wrong. I get it, but you know, it is what it is too. I need that Daily Wire Snow White movie. I need that cringe in my veins. Yeah. Yeah. That would be pure, uncut, straight from Bolivia cringe. I think, yeah, that's the dabs of cringe, I would imagine. You know, I'll reserve judgment, but I have not been all that impressed with their narrative expeditions. We'll see. Boosh is the most gay. Boosh is the most gay. The Mighty Boosh? Chris Boosh? I don't know what you're saying. Hello, Ruben Christopher Haynes. Good to see you, my friend. It's gay? No, Matt, you are gay. What are you talking about? I'm lost. I'm going so far back from the chat. I don't even know where I'm at. Oh, God. You guys have really been chatting. You've been chatting us up a storm. I guess I'll go back for the more recent. As a sidequel to the Batman, it works great. Yes, agreed. Like I said, I want to see superheroes in my superhero show at some point. I think that would be respectful. Ruben, Matt got tired of all the Diddy parties he attended. You can see it in his eyes. I did think that was an interesting total aside, but people were talking about, oh, DiCaprio was at one. I'm like, yeah. It's like a celebrity event. He was like, in his 20s. Of course he's going to go there. It doesn't mean he did anything wrong. I thought that was like, oh, guilt by association. It's like, there are like 500 people in those pictures. I don't think that automatically means you were at the freak-offs. It might be. I don't know. But they're like, got him. It's like, no, you didn't. Hey, that 70s rock fan. What's going on, brother? Nice to see Matt is still a sex machine. Oh, all day, dude. Just up to my neck and shakes, dude. I can't. I gotta fight him off. But good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in, my guy. You love that DC Comics villains, Ace Mr. Freeze? Yeah. This is awesome. Like, I like this. I thought the Joaquin Phoenix Joker was awesome. Like, I loved that because I thought it was so well constructed, and it built this premise that you could see like a horde of people mindlessly following this guy, and it's like, as much as people were like, it's not a comment on social justice warriors, it sort of was in a way. Even if it wasn't intentional, it sort of proved that sort of mob mentality for like, yeah, we're doing the right thing. Like, it was cool. I don't know if I'm going to see the Folie Deux. I might wait until it comes out on, VOD or whatever. But I liked what they did, and I thought that was cool. And I think they're doing something similar here with Penguin. Like, they're creating like an interesting backstory, like a genuine explanation for him, which is cool. Like, if you're gonna do it right, that is cool as hell. Then it means like when they clash, like if they clash, it's like it's so much more. The stakes are so much higher, and there's so much more like, I don't know. There's like a tapestry now that's been woven. I think it's tight. I think it's tweet. Are we talking about Star Wars? Star Wars made the first mistake bringing in J.J. Abrams and mixing a Star Trek director with Star Wars. I do remember, even before I'd seen it, as soon as I heard it was J.J., I was like, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like him to be Star Wars and Star Trek. But I was just eager for more Star Wars. I always was kind of annoyed that there wasn't more Star Wars movies. And I mean, I was such a fan. I was just like, put more stuff out. Come on. And then I was like, yeah, Disney. I was pumped. I was like, the IP, like, we're making movies. I was like, let's go. And then it was like, ooh, be careful what you wish for out there. That used to be two completely separate franchises and fans. You never have the same director for both franchises. It's why the style never worked out with the Mary Sue. Yes, good call. I agree. Joker movie's an alt-right dog whistle, I've been told. That's right. It was going to stir up all the Proud Boys and white supremacists to destroy the country or some shit. I don't know. Didn't seem like that happened. It seemed like it was just a badass movie. And it was. Does it hold up? It's been a few years now. It's possible it hasn't, the aging could start to show. The color could start to fade. I think I've seen it twice, and I think I remember thinking it was brilliant both times. I imagine it's still really good. Imagine my disappointment when Ryan Long's got a good skit about that, where he's like, it's like a white supremacist, like a KKK or whatever, is like recruiting for people, and then like this guy like brings in this new dude, and he's like, oh dude, this guy's so racist. This guy is like the most racist guy ever. And then he comes in and he's just like, I'm not like all that racist. Like I just kind of said a Chinese accent joke, and he's just like, no, this guy's like plenty racist, trust me. It was just like all the hype about like doing the most mild thing, making you the most racist person in the world, and then going to the KKK, and they're like, you're not racist enough, bud. Pretty funny. I need some more Jordan Peterson impressions in my life. I'm still cracking up over that. You should do a daily bit. You'll blow up over it. Oh man, maybe. I don't know. I don't know that I have enough Jordan Peterson in me. Maybe. I like doing it. It's fun. I was told my Jordan Peterson impression wasn't all that great. Not that I really gave a shit because I wasn't trying for a good Jordan Peterson impression, but I needed the idea inspired me, so I don't know. I guess maybe if I can come up with another funny idea, but I don't want to force it because I just like that, I could grow tired real quick. Hello, Bobby Blankenship. Hail to you, sir. Thank you for being here. Oh, I was told to come say hi, so give me a couple minutes and then I'll say hi. And a man of his word. Look at him. Look at him. Absolutely. Ace Mr. Freeze. Yeah, the Joker movie was a real win for storytelling and for culture. I think so. The fact that made $1 billion is crazy, especially on that budget. I guess they had to make a sequel. I don't know. You know what I was thinking about? I was talking about, you need to channel your inner Kermit. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I got to try to find that a little more froggy. But, I was thinking about this, Ninja Dildo. Remember that show that I was talking about a few years ago, The Outer Range on Amazon Prime? And I was into it. It had Josh Brolin in it, who's the fucking man. And it was like a really interesting kind of sci-fi set, like in a Western town story. And I remember like being really compelled by it. And then the last episode like got weird as hell, like in ways where you're like, what's that? Why are they making out like that? Like just so many odd stuff. And then the new season came out a few months ago and I was like, I don't think I care. It's like I started it and I was just got a few minutes into it. I was like, I don't think I care about this. It's got the same way with like Avatar 2. Like I started watching it and I was like, I think I'm good. And I kind of feel like that's how I'm going to feel about the next Joker movie. Like unless like people are like, no, dude, trust me, it's genius. I feel like I'm just going to be like, nah, one was enough. I don't need another one, especially if he's not fighting Batman. Like, that's kind of what I'm talking about with, like, the Penguin thing. It's like, I like these backstories. That's cool. But make them fight the hero, right? Like, that's the whole point. He's the villain of a hero, We need the hero. So if you're going to do a second Joker movie and there's no... Even like a lesser, there's got to like other Justice League guys fighting him or, even Robin. Make Robin some badass dude or something. I don't know. I just feel like they should be fighting superheroes in the superhero show at some point. I don't know. Otherwise, it just kind of starts to be this weird spin-off thing that like is not going to pay off to what in all rights it should pay off to be is a superhero show. So, I don't know. I'm gonna hard wait and see on the Joker movie. I'm gonna see lots of reviews and kind of get a grand consensus before I spend any time or money on that movie. I don't know. Yeah, I remember. Never saw it though. Oh, you didn't watch it? I thought you watched The Outer Range. Am I wrong? Am I going crazy? Have I lost my mind? I thought you did, but anyway. Chris Wiz, I liked Outer Range. Season 2 just came and went, and then it was canceled. That was lame. Did you watch Season 2? Was it good? I couldn't bring myself to care enough about it at all in any way. I don't know. I miss Lex. That was a weird show. Was that a Lex Luthor show? Oh, from the 90s. Oh my God, what even is this? Wow, that does look weird. I have no idea what this is. I feel like I would have known what this is, too. This is a show. It came out in 97. I was 12 years old. This is something that should have crossed my path. Oh, it was a Sci Fi Channel show. I didn't have much faith in those. I missed out on Farscape when it was on. Farscape kicked ass. I ended up watching that later in life. Farscape rules. But I didn't watch it at the time because there was a lot of crap on Sci-Fi Channel, Sci-Fi Network. Yeah. The one with the big hole in the ground, to like another dimension or another time or something. I don't know. It was very mystery boxy. It felt like they were going to establish a lot of things and then figure out what the hell they were later. It really felt like a J.J. Abrams style of writing thing, like Lost. They're like, we'll wrap it up somehow. Just keep introducing mysteries. I'm like, nah, stop doing that. Lex Rules says Sentient Dildo. All right, endorsement. Oh my God, Papa Cotton loves it too. I didn't know this was such a well-received show. This is the first time hearing of it. Joker was, this Ace Mr. Freeze, Joker was a good foundation. Totally agree. It needs a Batman and Joker 2 to reach a climax. If they just mesh Joker 2 into the death of Robin, I might have to see it. That would be tight. Yeah, but yeah, man, come on, superheroes. And fuck musicals, very well received on this end. Sentient Dildo musicals are super gay. Not a fan. Except for Book of Mormon. That was tight. I saw that on Broadway. That was tight. Hello, the lovely Sherry. Good to see you. Bobby is in love with the fact that another human likes Lex more than one, and 70s rock fan, and Zax. Damn, sounds like there needs to be some kind of retrospective stream or video about this show. There's a bigger audience than you think, Bobby Blankenship. I'm just writing ideas for you, my friend. Outer Range season 2 was nearly as good. Wait, as I say, wasn't nearly as good. It was slow. Builds up to only explaining how Amy winds up in the hole. That's about it. None of it really explains what happens in their futures. Yeah, I don't give it. I'm done. I don't like being strung along. I hate that. Like, if you're going to write a show, right, like, you have to have a beginning and end. Please have a beginning and end. And, like, if there's a big mystery, okay, but, like, along the way, you need to gratify my curiosity, because if you just keep manipulating my curiosity along the way, it becomes exhausting and kind of toxic and manipulative to the point where I'm like, this isn't cool. Like, you're just fucking with me. I hate that. I don't like shows where they keep introducing a new mystery. Like, that's why I grew tired of Ozark. Not that they were mysteries, but I guess they were, because it'd kind of be like, how are they going to get out of this one? It's like, they got out of it this way, but that started a whole bunch of new problems. And it just kept doing that over and over and over. I'm like, I'm just being emotionally manipulated here. I don't care for that. Storytelling is storytelling. It's not a trick to get me to keep watching. You should be able to, use tricks to tell a compelling story, but the whole thing should not be a trick. There was this French movie, I think it's French. Forgive me if it's not French, called Cash. And it's about this family that receives a videotape of them being surveilled. And it's real creepy, and they don't know who it is. And the whole movie, they're going through trying to figure out who it was. In the end, there's no resolution. You get this kind of big mystery, like, whoa, who was it? And someone, like, they think it's this guy, and it's not him, and he kills himself to prove that it wasn't him or something. It's a little weird. It's French. And then I was like, oh, that was pretty compelling. And then afterwards, I was listening to the director talk, and he's like, no, I don't know who filmed him. I'm just like, it's your story. If you don't know who filmed them, then no one filmed them, and you just emotionally manipulated me for 2 hours. What kind of happy horse shit is that? Tell me a story. This isn't an amusement park ride. I didn't give you a ticket to be like, well, you're going to fuck with me like it's a haunted house. No. Tell me a story. So there was no one filming them? You jackass. That's so manipulative. I hate stuff like that. Don't do that to me. Farscape Rules, been watching it. Oh, it's on YouTube. What do you know about that? Farscape does indeed rule. I still have not seen Battlestar Galactica. I really need to spend some time and just watch that goddamn show. I just haven't spent the time. I don't know why. Every time I sit down to do it, I just don't. Oh, wow. What do you know? It is. Huh. It's just on YouTube. Why the hell is that just on YouTube? That doesn't make sense. There's a whole Farscape YouTube channel. Yeah, it's just the full episode. That's so weird. This doesn't look official. Oh, it does say Farscape official. Come on. Shoutfactorylive.com/Farscape. Really? It's just on YouTube? That's wild. That is so cool. I've never seen that before. Is this... Am I being messed with? Is this like not really official, but they're calling it official? That is pretty sick. Yeah, you're among your people, dude. You got the right nerds. The right nerds. I'm subscribed to 24-hour Farscape Forever stream. I fall asleep to it. Still hate Rigel's guts. Little turd. Huh. That's the first time hearing of it. The end of one episode is not time to start the story of the next episode, for fuck's sake. I mean, you do need cliffhangers. You do need a compelling reason to watch the next episode. I think that's fair, but it should be earned. It shouldn't just be like, well, what about this? Just like, come on. Dark Matter was a good Canadian sci-fi too. Yeah, for a little while. It's okay. Is that you're talking about the most recent one with Jennifer Connelly and that other guy? I can't think of his name. It was good. I liked it, but I really lost interest by the end. And when it was over, I was like, that's the ending? Okay. I don't know. Not for me. You guys are nerding out over these 90s science fiction shows. I love it. That's super fun. Super fun. Yeah, I've never heard of this Lex show, and I definitely never finished Farscape, but I watched a lot of it and loved it. Good concept, too. Just a great, setup. And I like that it's wormhole, so we don't need to explain how he got there or, why all the worlds are so different. Wormhole, I like those outs. I think that stuff's good. In The Expanse, it's how do the engines run so efficiently? They just do. And you're like, all right, they just do. And that's good, as long as you don't break too many of your own rules and you just kind of have that's why. Because that's why. Yeah, I wish I had more content to discuss because I don't, because content has been really boring. Slow Horses is a good show. I watched the first episode of the new season. I will say that is a very sharp, well structured, cool intrigue, CIA stuff. Not gadgety, smart, you got to solve the problems. Good characters. Gary Oldman killing it as this disgusting old washed up kind of MI6 guy, but he's still sharp as hell and smart. Talks about it ties in with the Cold War and stuff and sort of the hangover of the intelligence community in England and Europe in general, but mostly England. That's a good show. I definitely recommend that. I think Severance Season 2 is coming out soon, but not too long. You remember the show, Matt? The one where it starts with the crew woke up without their memories? Wait. Which one are we talking about now? Are we talking about... I don't know. Hello? Oh, hey! What's going on, Nadia? Good to see you. Streamed with Nadia the other night. Oh, this Dark Matter. Oh, there's a different one. Oh, okay. Let me see what you're talking about. Oh, is this the George R.R. Martin one? No. I don't know if I know this one. This does not look familiar to me at all. Nope. Don't think I ever saw that. Don't know this one. No. This is in German, too. Das Wuschkenwaffen. No, don't know that one. Sorry to disappoint. Do not know that Dark Matter show. Never seen it. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's called Night Flyer. Yeah, that was fine. It's not bad. You know what I wish would have been better, and I wish more better versions of that would be made, was that Love, Death, and Robots show. That was fun. I liked that show a lot. I thought that was some really cool concepts in there. Then they got really lame, I think, just not as much fun. But there were a few episodes of that show that were great. And I wish they would just make more of the great ones because they were such cool concepts and so self-contained, little 10-minute snippets. They were rad. We talked about it a long time ago, Matt. You've seen it. This Dark Matter show that he just shared the link of, I don't think I've ever seen this, dude. None of this looks familiar to me. The crew all wake up without their memories. That's so many shows. Baldur's Gate? No, I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, I know. So cool. This dark matter had hot chicks. The other one had hot chick. Yeah. I don't know. Ascension Dildo. I don't know if I don't think so, man. If it's this show that Ascension Dildo or that Zach shared, no idea. No, never seen this before. Never seen this before in my life. God, I wish I had more content to discuss. There's just so few interesting things out there. And then, I don't know, the news stories are so boring today. I don't even really feel like talking about the news. The news depresses me. It does. I was thinking about this. So I was like, at a brewery earlier. Just thank you. Thank you, Nadia. Thanks for popping in. Check it out. Check out Nadia. Nadia's got a channel too. Go subscribe over to her. And thank you for the like button. I'm not gaslighting him. I don't remember. Why would I do that? But anyway, so I was looking at the news for, topics and stories to talk about on this stream with you fine people. And I'm reading stories and I'm like, it was a horrible, horrible story. I don't even want to talk about it. I thought about maybe like there's one angle of it that was kind of like disgusting but funny. But I'm like, nah, it's too dark overall. And I'm just like, what, like, how is this enriching anyone? What is the value of being informed on these stories and this information? How does it make you a more complete person? When I was a kid, like, I felt like it was like a virtue that you were up on what was going on. It's like, why? Why is that so helpful? I think it's smart to have like a foot in it to know what's going on. But if you're just in the news every day, I don't think that that's helpful on a net level. I think, there's certain parts of it you pull out, but en masse, you're just reading things that just are awful that you don't need to know about. There's no reason to learn about these stories. And it's also just such empty, like there was one, I saw it on like multiple different outlets. I think I saw it on like the New York Post, Daily Mail, and like Lad Bible. And it was like this old picture of a bunch of school kids, a black and white picture. And like one of the kids is like, does he have an iPad? And it's like, you see the picture. It's like, no, it's clearly a book. Is time travel real? It's like, no, it's a book. It has a symbol in the middle of the book. That's all. Kind of looks like a shimmery apple, sort of. But I'm like, this is on like all these publications. I don't know. Man, I think the news is awful. Hello, Steph. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Thank you. I appreciate that. Adios. Hi, bye. Good to see you. Here's your hat. What's your hurry? All right. If you want to know what's going on, the news is the last place you should look. Yeah, man, you should be on Rumble, dude. Right? Or Truth Social. I don't know. Also, I just don't even feel like it's really all that important for most people to know. Like I saw there was some guy, some dude, I don't even know what his position was, but he basically was confessing to the fact that they put all these social pressures to make people take the vaccine. And he was caught like on camera on like one of those like sting dates, where they get him to admit to it. And these guys are so blabby. You'd think they'd be fucking smart, but they're not. And he, admitted to said the quiet part out loud to all the things we've been saying, all the conspiracy theories we've been saying for years about the whole coof and the jab and the blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, I was thinking about sending it over to like my mom, because she was all on me about like getting vaxxed, and I'm like, I'm not doing it, Mom. But I'm just like, why does she need to know this? And also, what do I need to score points politically with my mom? Like, I was right. Like, no, dude, it's not. She's old. She's in her 70s, or late 60s, But it's just like they don't. No, most people don't need to consume this shit. Most people don't need to be up on the issues and be correct and have the right stance. And it's like they don't need it. They need to go for a walk. They need to eat less processed foods. They need to be nicer to their friends. Like, that's what most people need. They don't need all this information pumped in their head constantly. It's not helping anybody. Not nobody, but I mean the average person. I don't think you need all this shit. I don't think you do. I think you'd be a happier person. You live longer. You don't need it. Like what? Oh, you better be informed. You know how to vote. Please. Yeah, come on. Yeah, sell that story to the middle schoolers. You know what I mean? Who are learning about what civics are. But yeah. But anyway, lecture over. Okay, my TED Talk's done. But I don't think you should look at the news. The news is stupid. It's bad for you. I don't recommend it. All right, folks. That is going to do it for this episode of the MFer Podcast, episode number 46, where I basically just blabbed on about the penguin. But that was fun. I liked that. I might do that again. It was way better than trolling the news for stories for me to be like, I said something funny about Trump. This was really enjoyable. And I'm glad that you were all here for it. It means a whole heck of a lot. Next week, probably not going to have a show. I might try to bank one and pre-record just so that I can stay on the schedule. If not, though, I'll do one either late that night. Probably not, though, but maybe the next night. But I will do some kind of a makeup. I will not just do no stream. Because it's nice to see everyone. And it's good to talk. It's good to chat, you know? It's really fun. So, this is the MFer Podcast. It is streaming on Foulball Productions on YouTube, the MFer Podcast on YouTube, and Foulball Productions on Rumble. It's also available wherever you get podcasts, like Google Podcasts, or Pandora, or Apple, or Spotify. That's right, I'm on all those platforms. And if you happen to find me on those platforms, why don't you go ahead and give me a review? Get those numbers up, boost me in the algo, so other people can hang out and hear what I have to think about Penguins Episode 2. You guys are great. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Press like, tell your friends, all that good shit. And I will be back next week at some point. Hopefully Monday with something, if not Tuesday. Anyway, you guys are phenomenal people. I love your beautiful faces, and I'll see you all next